So, in reality, what I'm saying will never work. Cut the line rugby, Paul Stubbs here. We're talking about the Boks taking on Namibia in the next match at the World Cup. I'm here in the lovely surroundings of Paarl, battle, if you will. And it has been a wonderful day of SA Rugby under 19 provincial action. Western Province and the Sharks looking deadly, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the World Cup. Let's start out with World Rugby coming up with the statement that the refereeing decisions at this tournament have been poor. The headshots that were being taken in the Samoa game were completely out of control. Red card for the first, red card for the second, guaranteed. Problem with the first was that the TMO came down and gave the ref some additional information. Listen, what I'm saying is that referees are good people and we shouldn't be putting so much pressure on these guys. These guys are doing the best that they can. It's not like we've sent the worst referees in the world there. We have sent the best. And for World Rugby to come out and say something about them like that, I mean, I can't imagine they're appreciating it. Although, that being said, the decisions have been truly heinous. All sorts of changes for the Springboks, including Frans Steyn starting at 12, which is exciting. Elton Jantjies starting at 10, which is also exciting. A player who's experienced a touch of a shunning over the past few months in the Springbok jersey. Let's hope he can make it count again. But one thing's for sure, I'm looking forward to this game because it provides the opportunity for all of the French players who you're not quite sure if they have a chance of cracking into this first team, but they may just have to play for the remainder of the tournament should anybody get injured. Let's remember Frans Steyn was one of the main reasons we won the World Cup in 2007, and he wasn't supposed to be starting the games because Jean de Villiers was the starting inside center. Is there any possibility of Namibia pulling off an upset? You'd have to say absolutely and unequivocally not, no chance whatsoever. They are a nation which exceeds themselves in order to make these World Cups every time. And they're competing against Zimbabwe. So next time around, they might just have a tougher task of making it. So don't underestimate how much these players will be enjoying it. This might just be the last World Cup for Namibia for some time.
What do you say the last World Cup?
Zimbabwe is going to start competing on, because there's only one other African spot. Which is right back there. Because Zimbabwe are now becoming a competitive nation once more, they started competing in the Supersport Rugby Challenge in a serious way, and they could just be the stumbling block to Namibia being that second African qualifier, because of course, one African qualifier is 100% guaranteed. Guys! Rassie Erasmus says the gap between the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 nations is closing because you no longer see the 100, 80 and 70 point score lines, which you previously saw at World Cups, notably so Japan in '95 when they really took a tapping by New Zealand, but it happens every year. It happens every year at the World Cups, and it should happen again this year. I think fatigue will start catching up with these teams. They're not going to be able to keep up. The likes of Russia and them playing a match every 3 days. How much depth can they have to compete at this level with that kind of stuff going on? But I think the gap between the Tier 1 nations and the Tier 2 nations is only growing, especially because this Nations League thing didn't get pulled off. Although most of us don't support the Nations League because it was a competition which would likely make international rugby less entertaining. All right.
But I think it will be 63-12. Elliot Wanabe.
Yeah. You heard it here first from Elliot, huh? 63-12.
Yeah.
So you're giving them 2 tries? Huh?
Yeah, 2 tries.
I'm giving them no tries. 83-0. Upsets at the tournament. Uruguay beating Fiji. The emotion on that day was absolutely insane. Reminds you why this tournament is so special for the smaller nations. Have a good weekend.